Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Purpose series. I'm so excited for what we have in store for you today. We are unpacking purpose and what it is, what it looks like, and how we can go about maximizing. And of course, in our idea of manifestation of it, how do we go about doing that? We are really kind of going to focus this particular series as an experience of learning, understanding, and of course, finding that sweet spot for who we are and what it is that we're meant to be, which is the ideal, encapsulation of what purpose is. So I hope that you're ready to receive, because that's what this particular session is all about. And we're going to be going through this, you and I, over the next couple of weeks, and unpacking this topic and finding ways in which we can immerse ourselves in every type of way within our purpose and who we're meant to be. And I want to start this off by asking ourselves and, asking you rather the question, what is your purpose, right? Why are you here? And that is a very important question that I think we often find ourselves asking, but either hide away from or run away from the realities of what that is, the response or the answer from that could be, or we find ourselves being momentumed by that question to leap ahead, step forward, and find what it is that we're meant to be. Now, a word that, excuse me for that, a word that has very important significance in our lives is this word called purpose. And I want us to really be aware of how we can immerse ourselves within this concept and finding ways of merging it into our lives and our daily living. It's a word that's very important and significant in our lives. And the definition of the word, which is the way we kind of begin in understanding something, we're trying to first understand what does it mean in a dictionary capacity? Like, what's the dictionary version of the answer of this? So really, I'm here to ask you that, and I'm here to unpack that, and to really welcome you to this purpose discovery and purpose manifestation and purpose maximization series with myself, the author of the book titled 21, which was an encapsulation of purpose, right? So that's what we're going to be unpacking today, and I hope that you're ready to receive. And when we ask ourselves, what is purpose? As I said, we start there. That's where we start with understanding concepts. Now, the definition of purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists, right? Which is one would say, Google definition of purpose, the reason for which something is done or for which it exists. And just like each and every one of us, there's a reason why we were done or created, and there's a reason why we exist, which ultimately signifies what that purpose is. The reason why we were created and the reason why we exist. And it is a reason we are all here, because each and every one of us has a purpose to serve within the world. Because everything exists for something, right? We can think of anything in the world. It's either to participate in an ecosystem and be active participants by serving your role, right? Or really to bring something new, something that hasn't been there before, but that would not be without you serving or being righteous with your purpose, right? The second definition, however, of what purpose is it's a person's sense of resolve or determination. That also describes the idea of purpose. A person's sense of resolve or a sense of determination. Now, we have to be very aware that these two meanings, as per Google has said, sound like two different things. And we're going to be unpacking that today and unpacking how they are different in their regards, but in essence, really mean the same thing, right? Two definitions, the reason for something being created and why it exists, and the second being a person's sense of resolve or determination. So, the identification of our own individual purposes helps us to understand so much about ourselves and answers all these questions that we find ourselves battling with as we are in this world, right? Because we have got so many questions. One of those being, why am I here, right? As we said, it is the definition being for the reason. What is the reason for my existence? What is the reason why I was created? So we ask ourselves that question because it's a question that has been innately put within us in order for us to find, as definition number 2 says, a sense of resolve for something and for what it is that is currently in the world. And there's so much even there, just within those 2 definitions for us to unpack. And I'm super amped up about this because it's a passion topic for me. I even went about to write a book about it because it's such a passion project and it's such a passion topic. But in order to discover purpose, it is therefore important to understand the following things. And if you have a notebook and a pen, I would advise for you to take it out in order to be able to note these down or come back to this video again to kind of unpack for yourself what this, what this topic is to entail. And I want us to understand the following things, right? For any good and well-functional system, structure, or establishment, right? For any system, structure, or establishment, there are elements that serve different purposes that the collective system can operate efficiently. So a system cannot operate efficiently unless the individual elements that have been placed in order to create the system and to ensure that the system is able to manifest as well as to maximize itself, they need to be in place. So for if and when a member or element of that particular system does not serve its purpose, then the system fails to work. And we can look at this in various different examples, right? We can take a car for an example, right? A car is created to operate within a systemized capacity. So there's a way in which once you press this happens. When this moves, that moves, and that moves, that moves. And the system, each and every part of the car itself serves a particular purpose. And in order for the car to move or to function, it has to have all of its parts operating, right? If the engine doesn't work or it doesn't work properly, then the car might not move, right? And it does not serve its ultimate systematic purpose of being able to transport one from A to B. But it requires for each and every one of those elements to be working efficiently for it to work as a collective whole. So that as well, it also then kind of brings into perspective what it is that we as human beings, we are in a world that consists of systems, structure, and establishments. And each and every one of us in this establishment called Earth has a role to play. Right? We like an engine, like a steering wheel. Without a steering wheel, the car doesn't necessarily know which way to go. Without the brakes, the car cannot stop. Right? So each and every function is thoroughly important, which that's why it no matter how big, no matter how small, each part of the car, each element of the car is just as important as every other. So we have to be very cognizant and aware of that fact. The world and the earth functions in the same way, right? Every species, according to God's design, has its own purpose and function in the world. And we need to ensure that we are participating within that design as human beings. We've been given so much agency and we've been given so much ability through God's design in order to be able to take part and imagine what that redirection could be. So we have to be very aware, and that's why I would believe that perhaps because we've got so much agency, right, the simplification of that gets difficult. And we get to see that in nature and within the ecosystemization of the nature, right? Each part of the ecosystem plays its part, and hence things are still able to move, right? There's praise, there's plants, there's food, there's all of these actively playing their role, right? The plants are able to produce that the animals can eat, that the animals could be served. to be eaten by the humans because the humans need the protein. So it's all in function, right? It's all in function. And you can unpack this in so many ways within yourself as well. And you can find so many examples that exemplify exactly the same notion. And it's such an important one that I'm so, again, passionate about. So now if we start with the second definition, right? And start the understanding of purpose, what purpose is, by understanding the second definition, which is a sense of resolve, right? The word resolve, where we have to ask ourselves the questions, what am I? What is it that I am resolving, right? When you're asking yourself, what is my purpose? The first point and question to then ask is, what am I resolving? That will lead me to understanding what my entirety of my purpose is. Now, there is a problem that needs to be resolved, and you are the only person that has been equipped with the necessary understanding, the skills and the tools internally within yourself. That resolve requires you, and you are the only person who is able to resolve it. You are the only person who knows what the problem is, because it's been innately designed in your design that you find it being a problem to resolve, right? It burdens you and you want the desire to resolve it. Like you have this burning desire to fix it or solve it because you understand that the solution lies within you. And we find an example of this being that the greatest inventors in the world were burdened with the problems that they found and they see around them, right? There's a need and a desire for seeing and establishing light,